I will catch up with, can I catch up with you briefly? I was working on the house. Well, that's a big thought.
Slow, easy to get done.
Okay,
I always know where you stand.
we'll call the March 2nd City Council meeting to order. Call the roll.
Ashley Allers here, Abby Hansen, John Hawkins,
Here.
John Marvel,
Yep.
Megan McFarland here.
Pledge of allegiance. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For promotion to approve the agenda.
Again.
All those in favor say aye. Item 1 is petitions, communications and requests. This is a time of the meeting that a citizen may address the council on a matter not on the agenda, except in cases of emergency. The city council may not take any action at this meeting, but may ask city staff to research the matter, have the matter placed on a future meeting. Anyone have anything for us or not? No? Okay. Consent agenda. The following items have been deemed non-controversial routine actions to be approved by the council in a single motion. If a council member or a member of the audience wishes to have an item removed from this list, it will be considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Brianne, did you want to present yours first?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. Before you is the Graceland Cemetery 2025 Annual Statistic Report. And I'll just go over a few key numbers from the 2025 year. We had a total of 75 interments this year, including 33 traditional burials and 42 cremation interments. To date, there have been 14,317 total interments recorded at Graceland Cemetery. In 2025, we sold 37 grave spaces, which included 29 traditional spaces and 8 cremation spaces. Currently, we have 1,902 traditional spaces and 278 cremation spaces available for purchase for the total of 2,180 remaining spaces. And additionally, 29 monument permits were submitted and installed in 2025. Overall activity at the cemetery remains steady, with cremation interments continue to represent a significant portion of burials. So.
Thank you, Brian. Okay, I have A is minutes of February 16 meeting. B is the claims and the fund list. C is the annual cemetery advisory committee report. D is recommend approval for issuance of beer or liquor licenses by the Iowa Department of Commerce for the following: approve, renew Class C retail alcohol license for Highway 20 liquor and tobacco at 1345 Second Street. Approve the new special Class C retail alcohol license for Lucky Wife Wine Slushies dated May 21st to 26 for 2026 to participate in the Junk Fest. Approve new Class B retail alcohol license for the El Paso Express at 813 Superior Street.
Move to approve collectively.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Public hearing. What? 603. Gonna wait to
I could. You want me to give some background before
yeah,
the public hearing?
Yeah, that'll kill it in a minute. Yes, I need to kill a minute.
Thank you. Mayor and City Council. Before you is an agenda statement that discusses a few of the actions Community Development Director Bertrand is requesting. There are 3 separate actions on the agenda associated with this item. First is a resolution declaring the necessity to establish an urban renewal area and approve an urban renewal plan amendment for the expanded Riverview urban renewal area. The second is an ordinance providing the division of taxes levied on the taxable property and on the March 26 addition to the Webster City Riverview urban renewal area. That is essentially, under Iowa statutes, your direction to the county about how those taxes would be divided and should be calculated and placed into the urban renewal area. And then the second is the setting of a public hearing to consider approving the development agreement with Brew Oil. A copy of that agreement is included in your packet. On February 2nd, you took action to set the hearing for tonight, considering the expansion of the Riverview Central Business Urban Renewal Area. This is associated with the Brew Oil project that will be locating the former Dock Stop property. In addition, we included the former site of the Kmart and a former Casey location at 1827 Superior in this expansion. Based on recommendations and working with our legal counsel in discussions about the best way to move forward with this expansion of the area. As we know, the original Riverview Urban Renewal Plan was adopted in February 1986. Most recently, in November 25, the city took action to considerably expand that property, and then the Brew Oil project came in towards the end of beginning of this year, and as the associated with the expansion we're talking about tonight. Staff has, in compliance with Iowa statutes, met with the county and school to discuss this amendment. That was done on February 4th. No questions or concerns were presented to the plan amendment. It was also considered by the Planning and Zoning Commission on February 9th, and the commission unanimously agreed that the amendment complies with the comprehensive plan. A few of the benefits of this expansion, beyond just sort of, I think, the collective relief of the community to see the site redeveloped, is eliminating blight, supporting private investment, and taking advantage of existing infrastructure, so more of a cohesive urban planning approach. This expansion does allow the city to capture incremental tax revenue generated by the project, and as discussed in the development agreement, the division of that increment is included. And these funds will be used to support development agreement obligations, infrastructure improvements, and the overall elimination of blighting influence. The specifics of the allocation of that TIF were included in the business incentive application that the council reviewed prior to setting the public hearing for tonight. With that, we recommend approval of the three actions described in the agenda statement. I will save you the pain of reading those. But that is what we are here requesting. I can stand for any questions.
Okay.
John, do you see any future expansion of the urban development?
I believe that, I think you could conceivably expand it. You could conceivably retract it as the goals of the urban renewal area become complete. Right now, that program has three general goals, right? Nuisance abatement, blight remediation, downtown reinvestment, and reimbursement to the general government for expenses in regards to economic development in those efforts. This was a good opportunity to support those efforts, given the condition of the site. It aligned with the strategic goals of the Hamilton County Growth Partnership. But yeah, I think it's the expansion in 25 captured what staff believes is pretty much the extent of the areas that we're working in to remediate neighborhoods. You could choose to expand it if your efforts for urban renewal in those other programs or other programs that you choose to adopt with that increment, you're looking for more revenue for. That's a trade-off between incremental growth in the tax base for the general fund and other areas. You could also choose to condense it if you see those goals coming together. So I can see it both ways.
Which, I mean, in the long term, I mean, yeah, and 40 years ago, when it was developed, it was, I wouldn't say a quick fix, but it was something that, they were looking for. But, you could also say sometimes it is a quick fix.
Yes.
But what about south, the potential land south of 20 or commercial?
Oh, the certified site.
Yeah.
I will be interested to see as we begin fielding economic development proposals for that area, what the collective wisdom of the council and the community and our TIF advisors are in that regards. Certainly, it could be done with the existing statutes.
Right.
Okay. I'll open the hearing. Are there any written objections?
No.
Are there any oral objections? No, I'll close the hearing, and John has already spoken on it all, so I'll go to the resolution to declare necessity and establish an urban renewal area pursuant to section 403.4 of the Code of Iowa and approve urban renewal plan amendment for the expanded Webster City Riverview urban renewal area.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Second one is an ordinance providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable property in the March 2026 addition to the Webster City Riverview urban renewal area pursuant to section 403.19, the Code of Iowa.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
B is a resolution setting a date for a meeting at which it is proposed to approve a development agreement with Brew Oil LLC, including annual appropriation tax increment payments for March 16th at 6:05 p.m.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, C is a first reading of proposed ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of Webster City, Iowa 2019 by amending Chapter 22 to add Division 3 pertaining to false alarm fires. Evening, Chairman.
Mayor, Council, thank you for your time this evening. Just want to look at the potential of creating a structure that basically will try to keep our false alarm fire alarms down. We've had a couple different individuals throughout the community that it's kind of become a nuisance almost. Just not taking care of their stuff properly. So we've ran, just for one example, one of them within a year and a half was 14 false alarms. That's obviously not working conducively.
From one individual?
From one, yes.
14.
So something that we've talked about in the past, and once that occurred, we just thought it was probably best to go ahead and move forward to see if we could get an ordinance put in place. It's still very forgiving. Within a 12-month period, you have 3 false alarms that you get with no fee. The 4th one is then goes to 150, 500, 300, and then from there on 500. So, and obviously we would be at that point trying to get something resolved with them as well.
Yeah.
So.
Sounds like a reasonable request from the folks.
Where we're at too is pretty common among the state as far as other departments go as well, so.
How did we come up with a fine structure?
That I looked at all the different departments across the state and looked at what we currently have as far as with the police department. And so kind of worked together with that and put it middle of the road. They can be higher, but I felt like that's pretty fair.
Oh, I think it should hurt. No, I just, in all seriousness, I mean, that, 1 to 3 is, I think, reasonable to look past that, but after that, I think it should hurt.
Yeah.
And I think 150 is low.
We're open to amendments if you would like to.
I think it should
Suggest them.
I think it should be more. I mean,
Chuck, do you have an insight on that?
What we could do is the 4th one, we could raise it to. Raise it to 250 and then the 5th one to 350. That would, that 4th one there would obviously be a little bit more. We'd get to that 500 range a little bit quicker if that would be satisfactory.
The other option too is just something to think about is the actual fees are gonna be set by a separate resolution.
Right.
What they call the fee resolution that you guys pass and adopt. So this ordinance, if you'll see in the ordinance, it just references that the fees are established by ordinance, which is this separate resolution that'll come forward. So you could always, at any point in time, you could try it with Chuck's suggestions, and if it tampers the issue, then you would leave it as is. But if it's not addressing it and you're continuing to get them, you could always raise it at any point in time. So it's just an option too. So because it's only that doesn't require 3 readings, it just is a one time. So and it's looked at annually.
How do you collect the fees?
Well, her question,
How do you
How do you
collect?
collect the fees?
so on the fourth time, they'll get a letter that we'll send to them and explain, which the other 3 times they'll also receive the letters, so.
Yeah.
It won't be a surprise.
And if they don't pay it, then it assesses back on their property
Okay,
taxes.
perfect.
Yep.
So do you want to change? Did you want to change the rate or?
You know, I'll speak for myself. I think it should hurt. I think it's something that, I mean, when you look at 1 to 3 a year, I can see mistakes and things like such as that, but 14, that's outrageous.
Yes. So at this point, then, we're looking at, for the 4th one, 250, for the 5th one, 350, and then 500 thereafter. Is that work for everybody?
Works for me.
That's fine.
There was a question from the audience if you.
Oh, sorry, mate. Yes.
David Dixon, 939 First Street. You mentioned having this person get their system under control. What would you recommend them do, and what would that cost them to get it under control to hopefully they get to that 1 to 3?
Sure. So usually it's a couple of factors. Either cooking without good ventilation is a big one, or not observing the cooking, unattended cooking. That is the big culprit. Another one is if you're doing some type of remodeling or anything like that in the facility, dust and the thought process of not taking care of your detector during that time. And so those are probably the 2 biggest things that we see.
Which could be done for free.
Yes. Yes.
Chuck, when the call is made, you guys go in, do you then explain this was probably something that could be avoided? Do you talk to the person?
We do. The one that had so many, it was because of a lot of unattended and just not paying attention cooking. That's the majority of what was going on there. And so, yeah, we had a very good conversation, pretty intense conversation about that. But most of the time, where you have just once here or once there, it's somebody that's very, very embarrassed and upset that it happened, and they feel bad about it. And so those are usually what we run into. So
Sure, I'd want to go to dinner at the place.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeff. Call for a motion to approve we don't need to do anything with that fee.
No, we'll bring the fee resolution at the
Yeah.
next meeting.
Okay.
Move to approve. Okay.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Then we got D is the first reading of an ordinance amending the code of ordinances of the City of Webster City, Iowa by replacing chapter 48, article 2, division 2, section 48-5.56, establishing new rates to be charged for electric energy sold by the City of Webster City, Iowa. Evening, Dodie.
Evening. So the electric rate increase in front of you tonight is a result of a 10.5% increase. I put 10.4, but it's closer to 10.5 increase in purchase power that we received January usage, and it was billed in February. So I did attach a few attachments for your review. I do have more detailed information of how some of these summaries came about if you're interested to come in and visit with me. But the first attachment is just a chart. I used the actual kilowatts billed for calendar year 2025 with the new rates and applying the new rates. As you can see that it does average out to the 10.4%. Total dollar amount is $848,055 per year. Then we have two different summaries of. And I didn't do this by dollar amount, but I mean, as far as like the monthly increase. But did what the monthly bill would be on various usages for both residential and commercial. So Sherry and I went through this afternoon and we just looked at several just random city employees, some of you maybe, and to get some averages of usages on a residential customer. So the average residential was in using that theory was about 1,200 per month. The low end was 450 and the high was 3,500. If we take the total number of kilowatts billed by the number of residential customers, the average is 550. So I don't know if sampling is just higher users, it just so happens to be, I don't know. But so as we can see, like on the, is that the first one?
Yep.
Zach? So if it was 1,000, if you used average of 1,000, after all of the increases were in place, your bill would be $19.65 a month more than it is today. And
what was the average, Dodie, for residential? 550?
yeah,
Okay.
so the thousands, the higher end, but that was kind of closer to the sampling that maybe I used. So let's just say the 600, if we do that average, it'd be 1329. With that, that would be at what? July 1, 2027.
And that is after the 5,
Or
4, and 2.
2.
Yeah.
Correct. The commercial, I did a single phase commercial. Sherry looked up several of those. We were having a harder time finding the single phase versus the 3-phase customer. So on the single phase, 1,000 was the average using the number of users kilowatts charged method. The one where the residential was the 550. The sampling that Sherry found, she found 7 different commercial users, and that average was much higher. It was about 5,300. So again, I mean, if I only did residential and the single phase. The industrial is a lot harder because of the demand on theirs, but I can certainly, if you would like to see something on the industrial too, I can have that for next meeting. Or if you would stop, or if you just give me the heads up so I can get it prepared and stop into. Then I do have the last thing is the budget. This is the current budget that Sherry, John, and I have been working on. It does show what the 5-year forecast looks like. It does have these 3 rate increases, as well as we built in an additional 3% increase in purchase power for 2 separate years as a buffer, just in case. I don't know if we do, this is pretty lean. I mean, we do not have a lot of capital in here. I mean, it's pretty much to cover our operational. We do have a little bit, I mean, I know we have a commitment for a truck and one of the bigger trucks, the digger derrick, and so that is included. but not huge capital.
Just to add to Doty's comments, thank you, Doty. Um, building off of this, the sheet we're on. So when you look at that electric budget in the out years, we go down to around 34 to 36% fund balance. Our current reserve fund policy calls for 30 to 50% to be held in the fund to hopefully manage rate increases like this, and then also keep those as smooth as possible. So we are at the lower end of that. And so let's say if we were at 50%, I might be coming to you and saying, hey, let's burn a little bit here to help the customers. We also know that, as Dodie mentioned towards the end of her presentation, that we are estimating another at least 6% increase from Corn Belt, which has not yet been released. And so if at the end of the year, remember they came to us and said they had an 18% increase, they were only passing along 9. We actually experienced a 10.5% increase, and we're wondering how much they will pass on at the end of this year. If those numbers are better, there may be some ability to reduce the proposed 4 and the proposed 2. Don't want to promise that. But what we're doing is using our best crystal ball to sort of estimate what might be likely for the utility in the future. For residents and businesses, just so they are aware of the significant time and effort that went into proposing these rates. We did not necessarily know what Corn Belt was going to do until late this year. We have had our consulting firm review our rates. Doty has reviewed the rates. I would bet on Doty's numbers 95% of the time. No, 100% of the time, Doty, I should say. You're 100% of the time, you're 95% right there on the noodle. So I'm the work that both of those entities put into developing this. I'm very comfortable with the security of the recommendations and Doty's recommendations to the board here tonight. Let's face it, this stinks, right? Nobody wants a 9% rate increase. And we have, there is reason justification for the board to come forward tonight with a 10.5% rate increase. But because that's what we've experienced in January. We are endeavoring to maintain the cost of power for our customers and our residents. And we do take a great deal of time thinking about that when we set the rates. In addition, we are obligated as a public power provider to operate in a way that provides that power safely, that invests in the system, and that staffs a crew that is able to respond to emergencies and do general maintenance on the system. So all those values have been brought to bear on our recommendation. We wish it could be better. We do not believe it is in the best financial interest of the city to not proceed with at least the 5% immediately and plan for the 4 at the end of the year.
Do you have a question, John or Dodie? In looking through that, I did not see that the 1% per year increase we have been assessing since 2017 is being continued.
The 1% as in the out years in 28, 29, 29, 30, and 30, 31 is being continued. We are absorbing most of that power cost from Corn Belt with the rate increases proposed here.
So there is not, on top of what we're proposing,
No,
a further 1% in the 3-year plan.
correct.
Thank you.
I would also add one thing. If we look at this globally, right, this has been driven by the power supplier in North Dakota, referred to as Basin, that is a major, power provider. They have, we are part of a macroeconomic system. There's a lot of costs going into those systems right now with AI, data centers, other industrial developments, and those build outs of the systems are applying pressures to our providers. And so we are not alone in experiencing these cost increases. Other folks and other entities that are also purchasing power from Basin and then Corn Belt are also experiencing this as well.
I think the city's based on this work, Doty, John, Sherry, I think the city's done a nice job putting this together. But at the end of the day, we're being held hostage. And I understand that Corn Belt is in the same situation. You know, I don't represent Corn Belt's interests. I represent the city of Webster City and the voters and the constituents. I think it's ridiculous. However, you know, what's the choice? What are the options? Go back to Corn Belt? Does Corn Belt then buy, you know, from somewhere else? Or, you know, I mean, I was at the meeting in November. I heard the presentation and, you know, but the fact of the matter is it doesn't, you know, help us.
You know, typically when a supplier comes and says to you, we're going to have a double-digit rate increase, you would go shop and you would go take a look at different providers. Our relationship with Corn Belt is part of a multi-year contract that we are obligated to and have settled some years ago with the city. Alternatively, one of the things I didn't mention in my earlier comments that we did consider is changing the way we allocate the demand charge. And there were clear winners and clear losers in that effort that I presume in the next 12 months we're going to get a chance to sit down and talk about. We decided at this time, due to the newness of the rates, that the recommendation to move forward with the existing allocations of that demand charge were prudent with some changes to that just a little bit, but yeah, we're comfortable with it now. But it is always open to you, and we are mindful of rate competitiveness. I know that we're right at average, maybe a little above average with some of our surrounding power companies, and I'll be interested to see how these rates bleed forward over this year, so I can take another look at it when it comes through.
But the word from Corn Belt is to expect.
They were pretty coy, I think. I mean, discreet maybe is a better word to say. I don't know. I think they're pondering that themselves. I think they have their own pressures with their own customers that they're serving, and they're hearing from them and from us. We definitely had a long discussion with them about this. So unfortunately, you know, the news usually comes towards the end of the year. And we should look forward to having them back for another presentation around Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, yes.
Anyone more questions for Dave? Thanks, Dodie. I guess we'll call for a motion.
What year are we in the contract, John?
Ooh, Zach would be able to call that. I think it's a 20. It's
3 year, what year of 2011, is that when they signed it?
Mm.
Does that sound right?
No,
Or was it
we redid it when I got on council, so.
We extended it for 5 years when you got on council.
Yeah, because they used to bring it to us every 5 years.
Yeah, so I think
So it was made back to 50 years when.
yeah, it was originally a 40-year or 45, and then you guys extended it to 50.
They wanted, 50 was the longest we could go.
Don't quote me on it.
Well, they wanted 70.
Yeah, 70
We
Yeah.
can only do 50, and then they brought it back to us every 5 years to keep the 50 years going.
But it's a long ways. I want to say like,
We're still more than 40 years.
I think it's 20.
Yeah.
For some reason, I feel like 2055 is the number that I remember
Yeah.
being it close to then.
I'll make sure we object in 2055.
Yeah.
Good, John.
It was past all of our being around probably.
Well, there's no saying that that it's good or bad. I mean, it always looks bad when you're getting the rises. When we don't get the rises, and
That's fair.
then it looks good. So
That's fair.
So it's, you know, over a 50-year period is the way to look at it.
Right.
But unfortunately, right now, it looks bad, so. Yeah.
Yeah, December 31 of 2055.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you. Makes me feel better.
Well, it's less than 40 years, so, yeah, really not too bad, is it? Okay. So anyone make a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Item E is a motion setting a public hearing for the property tax levy for April 6th at 5:45 PM. This is going to be an earlier meeting, it has to be separate, doesn't it? So,
Yes, but tonight we do need a consensus from council on the levy. So the levy amount that we decide will be a not to exceed, and that will be the amount that is included in the property tax statements that come from the county auditor. Our deadline is March 5th to have the number to the Department of Management. So, and keep in mind, the levy amount that if you agree with the levy amount that we are proposing right now, at the public hearing, you can decrease the levy from this amount, you cannot increase. So if you agree on the levy that we're proposing, it would not exceed that amount. So if you're comfortable with that, this levy is 70 cents lower than last year's levy from the city. We have a chart that shows the specific levies that are used to compile the overall. We do have an increase in dollars that we will receive from the general fund of 3% or 61,000. The property and liability is significant. We are asking for the actual need. And the remainder of levies will have a decrease. We will use the fund balances. The aviation has a very good fund balance right now, and they were able to use FAA dollars for the majority of their projects. We talked to the president and he was okay with reducing their levy amount to the dollars received at 15,000. The transit is the Midas bus, and it is just a complete pass-through. Debt service, it shows a dollar difference, but pretty much that we're gonna keep that dollar amount the same as last year. So I did
Can you just explain to me in layman's, because I'm in need, FICA and IBRS, that 13%?
the FICA and IBRS was a 13% increase.
Right.
Yes, that would be, that's just the retirement.
No, I know what it is.
I'm sorry. Why is it 13% increase?
It's a decrease. It's a decrease too.
Decrease, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, you're right, that's what it looks like.
I saw 13.
Right above it.
Excel. Overall, Counselor Marvel and Jody, feel free to expand. We have less staff on board than we did last year. And that has been a trend in the last 2 to 3 years. So that is the savings that we are seeing in the employee benefit total. We also have a healthy fund balance there that we're comfortable making this recommendation that will not cause spikes immediately to the tax rate. So that's the reason that it was able to be decreased.
Minus 13.
Yeah.
13.
Yes. According to my calculations, 16 and a half, proposed levy rate is roughly, you know, slightly above our peers, across Iowa, depending on how you look at that. I'll present some of that information to you at our budget workshop. But it has, been leveling off. I think in addition, when you look at those numbers just across from 24-25 to 26-27, right at 479, 4,791,000 for those 3 years, that is a tough effort, as people who manage budgets and growth in systems can attest to. We think it's a fair proposal for the residents, given the electric rate increases that we're facing. So we're trying to bring, when we come to you with the proposed budget, sort of a balanced approach to the impact on homeowners. And that also did develop our thoughts around this. But overall, right, I am certain that all of these recommendations are will result in a stable provision of services for residents and not impact the quality of life for them. And it is available to us to take advantage of. Should you seek to do it, you can certainly go into the hearing. If you were like, hey, I want to hear more, you can say, no, don't take the 61, set it here. We'll go through the budget workshops and see if we want to do that. That is your prerogative as a governing body. But working the numbers that we've worked over the last few months, that's what we came to as a recommendation. It's sort of an unfortunate thing. We get done with the audit so quickly, and then this hearing comes up where you have to set the cap. And so we don't have a lot of time to meet in between those two dates.
No, I just hope it does make you feel better that you can lower.
Right.
So we're not, it's not gonna be set in stone right now.
What's your analysis of what the legislature may do?
I don't mean to jump in on Doty, but I don't, Doty doesn't, the three proposals, yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah.
The only, the 810, is our max on the general levy, and I would really recommend not going under that. If we can get locked into, if we go lower than the 810, we will, could be forced to being locked into that for several years. And for the $61,000, I mean, we can always use it, in the general fund. Because I think they're going to cap it even more so than we're being capped right now.
Right.
But John probably has some better.
Some of the proposals would cause significant financial constraints to the organization that would result in significant change.
Yeah.
And it might be to the point where we have to reduce services, this is to keep all of our services that as we have them now. So it does, like I did have a chart on here too, just using like the same rollback as last year. Using last year's levy to this year's, just because I thought that looked more like an apples to apples. The savings, like $100,000 house would be $30 for the year. That is using homestead as well. However, rollback is lower. So property owners will see even a better if their valuation did not change. And of course, if their assessed valuation rose, which I think Sherry looked at that a little bit, wasn't about a 50-50.
Yeah, some went up, some went down.
I'm happy to set up what you got proposed. And what?
Oh, yes, thank you. So the recommendation is to set the tax levy public hearing for 5:45 on Monday, April 6th. And then we're requesting just general consensus on the amount that we've recommended. There is no action on that. Well, you can take action if you want on the general consensus. That's up to you. But the major item to cover with this tonight is setting the hearing.
Motion to set the hearing on April 6th, 5:45 PM.
And that includes the proposed levy. Okay.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Item F is thanks, Daddy. Item F is a resolution authorising the city manager to award and execute contracts with East Twin Park Shelter Project, concrete and plumbing to Virgin Concrete Construction and Riley Armstrong Heating and Cooling in the amount of $43,175. Brianne?
So the item before you is a request to adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to proceed with awarding the contract for the East Twin Park Shelter Project in the amount of $43,175. Previously, council approved the purchase of the shelter kit in September of 2025 and authorized staff to bid the project in January of 2026. Bid documents were issued January 20th with a bid letting on February 16th. However, no formal bids were received. Following that, staff contacted 6 general contractors to obtain quotes. Of these contacted, Bergen Concrete Construction provided the lowest quote of $43,175. Other contractors either declined to quote or submitted significantly higher pricing. This project will replace the existing restroom and storage building at East Twin Park, which was constructed in the early 1950s. The new facility will be ADA compliant and include a toilet, urinal, sink, baby changing station, and accessible family-friendly layout. Funding is available within the approved capital improvement plan and other designated park funding sources, including hotel motel funds, local park funds, and the local option sales tax dollars allocated for park improvements. Staff is recommending to award the East Twin Park Shelter Project to Bergen Concrete Construction in the amount of $43,100.
Anyone have any questions?
Thank you for soliciting bids when you didn't receive any.
Yep.
So I think,
Yeah, it was hard work for you.
yeah.
You wouldn't think it'd be that hard to get people to do some work.
So this is a joint bid between 2 companies, correct?
Yes, so Bergen Concrete Construction actually submitted the bid with Riley Armstrong Heating and
Yeah, I looked at that.
as a subcontractor.
And what I didn't see on the bid was a completion date.
Yeah, so we are still hoping to go with May 15th as the concrete foundation and the plumbing stubbed in. Then we're planning, our kit is supposed to be delivered either the last week of April, first week of May, with volunteers and city staff building the shelter, and then the plumber will then come in again after that to finish the plumbing project.
And they felt they could meet the May 15th date.
Yes.
Full promotion.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favour say aye. G is a motion accepting revised plat for Links Development. Zach, you're on this one.
Yeah, this is a pretty simple one. So, the original Links Development plat, if you remember, was, taken up a number of years ago, 2017, I think is what I remember, 2018 maybe anyway. And then when their final plat came through, they asked that they can revise it to decrease the size of the lots, which city council approved that. When they did so, they called it Links Development 2. Which is now throwing up issues with the county as far as and I see their point, they're treating it like a new plat, but it's really not, it's just a revised plat. So all this is doing is you guys are approving it to be called revised Links Development, and then we will try again on getting it approved for the developer, and if not, we'll be back again. So that's the short and sweet of it.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Okay.
Item H is a resolution to authorize and execute employee share agreement between the City of Webster City, Iowa and the Webster City Community Schools for a communication director.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Mr. Burringhouse, would you be so kind as to come to the dais? He's like, nope, I'm not coming. We have a exciting and new proposal of coordination and cooperation between the City of Webster City and the Webster City Community Schools regarding the creation of a shared communication director's position. The agreement is included in your packet and outlines the terms of the employee. They will be an employee of our record, so we will actually be their employer of record, but the cost will be divided equally between the district and the city. The position is intended to develop and implement comprehensive communications, marketing, and public relations for both the city and the district to communicate with our constituencies, residents, businesses, out visitors, students, parents, establish editorial, graphic, and branding standards, oversee editorial direction of news releases and design of those things, write, edit, and publish articles, serve as the primary point of contact for media relations, coordinate media inquiries, assist the boards and the superintendent and city manager, which we should address. We should edit that, but city administrator in the agreement on media communications and public messaging. And there are a litany lists of ongoing sort of things in this. I won't go through all of them. The parties are agreeing to split the time 50-50. The school will reimburse us for that amount on a monthly basis. Each party will be responsible for providing office space, telephone supplies. The appropriation of claims of the shared employee are the responsibility of the party where that loss or instance has occurred. Effective date is when the signatures become affixed to it. Both parties may terminate with 180 days written notice and would be required to remit payment during that time. Overall, I think this is a good step forward in our efforts to communicate, for lack of a better term, and maybe to sort of use a easy term. We do not, I want to commend the existing staff and the organization for the work they're doing. Recently updated our website. We're a little more active on social media than we've been. But those are really only two avenues of communications with the public. And in an era of transparency and, community engagement and information, and quite frankly, community promotion, I feel like it is a good step forward to consider establishing a position like that will at least initially be shared between the two entities. I am happy to answer any questions that you might have. And as I mentioned, I was trying to drag Matt up to the dais, but he won't. So maybe ask him one specifically to get him there. But do you have anything, Superintendent Burringhouse, or?
Just looking forward to the sharing opportunity to do more storytelling about the great things that are happening, not only at the city level, but at the schools level as well. I think we can do a lot better job than what we've been doing as a school district. And this is an opportunity to hopefully get somebody within the community that can really expand on the great things that are happening in both entities.
Thank you.
So I guess
I'm 100% behind the position.
Yep.
The need, I think it's the need for both the schools and for the city. I think it's going to be a step forward. My biggest concern is a dual report. And in my experience, dual reports have never worked. It's been a disaster. You've seen, I don't like what I'm hearing. I'm going to go to mom. I don't like what mom said. I'm going to go to dad. I think the position, if it's, it should report into the city with a dotted line to the schools, of responsibilities, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, and I think given the nature of the district's corporate communications, I would be uneasy taking that firm line, without the shared responsibility. Matt may be able to opine on that himself, but I do understand that there are risks with this. However, given the relationship between the city and the school district, and especially Mr. Burninghouse's and my relationship, I believe that this will be productive and manageable. And so I share your concern. I've voiced it myself with some other positions that have come to both of our considerations in the past. This one seems to work from my perspective. So, but open to certainly amendments if you've got suggestions and things like that. Like you mentioned, I don't necessarily know what the maybe firm line you were talking about is opposed to the dotted line.
Yeah, no, it's just it reports into the city,
Yeah.
and you work with Matt on responsibilities.
Right.
You're basically farming out workload.
Right.
I think it works. Look, I understand exactly what you're saying. I do think the relationship between the school and the schools in the city is excellent right now.
Yeah.
You leave, he leaves.
Right.
I
Certainly, there is a 180-day out. So there is a termination provision that will get you out of the agreement should that falter. And I think that's a reasonable amount of time. In addition, I think the other element of this is that this position will be functioning and working closely with our executive teams and under our advisement with our executive teams. And so in that regard, Matt's ability to speak directly and direct the work of that with his executive team and with this staff and then mine as well is, I think, important to both of us at this juncture.
Would the position, and I looked through would the position also be available as a PIO for the police department, or?
Certainly, they are currently drafting their own public releases. I, think their quality has been descriptive and informative. But this agreement does give editorial control to the position, or at least, gives them oversight. So
I think that would be good.
I would expect that all of the executives, as they begin their communications efforts, are running this by the communications director.
So I look at things from a risk perspective. I had given my feedback on, the shared responsibility. And I think it's a great innovative way to look at employment and to make things work. I am concerned about the liability clause a little bit. Someone gets hurt on the job. And maybe people have experienced this differently. This says that it's gonna, wherever it happens is who's gonna take care of it. Worst comes to worst and you end up with a lawsuit. Is that really gonna be the case, or is the city responsible? Because what I can tell you, I've seen is ultimately they're the city's employees. That's typically where the responsibility is.
Yeah, I mean, the short answer is this isn't just related to this agreement, but any agreement is they're gonna draw in all parties. I mean, it's the way you do lawsuits anymore, is you bring in all the big fishes and you let them figure it out. So
Right.
I think our insurance, their insurance, both are gonna get brought in on if there is any liability issues. And it's just a matter of us being able, like if it happens at the school, us to be able to point to the school and say, hey, you're responsible to pay us back if there is a cost.
And I'm not saying that there would be a disagreement in it or alleging to that. I just, it's tricky.
That's Very fair. It does say each party is responsible for maintaining their own insurance coverage for the types of claims included but not limited to workman's comp. That would be, a discussion Matt and I would have to make sure that the district has have that coverages.
And I would make sure your work comp carriers and such
Sure.
have that understanding
Yeah.
perfectly.
Motion to approve.
All those in favour say aye. Aye. Okay, Zach, what's your report?
We've sat through it, so false alarm ordinance, the shared agreement we worked on as well. Hilltop, we drafted all the necessary paperwork, gets that contractor started on the demolition, so we outlined timing, liability. Liquidated damages, so we could get it moving on that one. That's all been drafted and provided to city staff, and then. In my off time, I've worked on 3 additional properties that we're going after for abandonment, and so.
Can we say, have the contractors save a few bricks from Hilltop, please?
Yeah, we did.
Yes.
That is part of it, is that if city staff request any portion of the demo property to be set aside, that they would do so.
Good.
So if you want to keep a beam, we'll get you one.
Just the mouth has a little on the concrete.
Yeah, and that's it for me.
Local motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.